get a thumbs up? Who do I get a thumbs up?
Huh? See, the guy over here. And then he'll give us a thumb up when they're ready.
Good evening and welcome to the Cleveland Community Police Commission's meeting for March 27th, 2024. We are here at the Estherbrook Recreation Center at 4125 Fulton Road, Cleveland, Ohio 44144. We'll be here till about 8:30 p.m. So I am here, my Sharina, co-chair Sharina Zayed. This is co-chair John Adams, and we're going to conduct a roll call of attendance. Co-chair Adams,
Present.
Commissioner Benito,
Present.
Commissioner Chura,
Present.
Commissioner Early,
Present.
Commissioner Garrett Ferguson,
Present.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Present.
Commissioner Reeves is out, Commissioner Ridgway,
Present.
Commissioner Van Leer is out, Commissioner Rodriguez,
Present.
Commissioner Wong,
Present.
and I, Commissioner Zayed, am present. We're going to move on to the adoption of the agenda. Commissioner Wong.
I have a few concerns with the agenda. There are, if I could just list them out, and then we can maybe decide what to do. There are motions listed under 645 to 715, 3 motions that are completely new motions. They're not put under new business, but they're put at the top of the agenda. And there's a motion for an OPS case involving Mr. Antoine Tolbert that has been introduced or attempted to be introduced 3 times. So that's certainly old business. It's gone through committee. So I think that should be moved up to the committee report in accountability. But I guess I just would like some clarity as to why these motions are at the beginning of the agenda rather than in new business. And I have to say that this agenda was sent out to us today, you know, and I don't think it was even posted on the website for the public. So I would make a motion to make those changes, and I'm happy to have other people amend. If there's something I missed on the agenda that is out of order, that we can amend that. So just so that we are going forward in a reasonable, consistent manner with Robert's rules and our template that we have for agendas.
Before we comment, Commissioner Early, you have something that you wanted to say?
Not on that matter. I want to make an adjustment to I want to add to the agenda.
Okay, so we'll deal with that matter first, and then what I want to say to the comment is that these items were put at the top of the agenda because they to us feel like they are a priority. So that's your answer.
So who made that decision? What is
Co-chairs.
us, the co-chairs?
Yeah.
So I've attempted, just as an example, to put up the motion for the OPS case for Mr. Tolbert 3 times. Citizens have asked why we are not hearing cases. Mr. Goodrick has shared with me recently that he has still not received the records request that he made with the city, and it is essential that this motion be moved up and seen properly. It has been buried through many attempts, because without the enactment of the city charter, then we are party to the judge to make a decision. But under the City Charter 115.5, the Commission has immediate access to records, and sometimes, in certain circumstances, unredacted access. My understanding from Mr. Perez is that these records are being held right now by the Law Department for redaction, even though there's not probably that much redaction necessary. We have no update, Mr. Goodrick, as to when we'll get those records. Is that true?
So at the moment, we just had a meeting with the monitoring team and the Department of Justice yesterday, and what we are doing is we are finalizing the terms under which we will receive records and what records we will receive. So the specific issue of Mr. Tolbert's records did not come up, but our understanding as a commission, as co-chairs, is that Mr. Tolbert has requested that we do the most thorough investigation, and if that means that we have to wait till we get things, he wants them done properly, and I think that that's what we're respecting.
So
With all due respect, Commissioner Wong, we do not have to put forth a motion to enact the charter.
Yes, we
The
do,
No, we do
because
not.
that is
We do
how-
not have to.
We
that
don't,
is-
we
that
don't
is
have to,
incorrect.
but the force
So
of the
it's-
charter is
so
not,
this-
I think you're.
There was a motion.
Point of
before you-
order,
you
can we
spoke.
please
Can you-
proceed with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
agenda, please?
Yeah,
Can
so you.
what she is saying is not true. The force of a motion is by majority motion, for the force of the charter is enacted by majority motion. You-
But it's not necessary because we have already begun
Mr.
the
Mr. Goodrich, when
process
he
for
made the
case.
records request without my direction or
Commissioner
approval,
Wong, I'm sorry.
he
You've
did not cite
spoken,
the charter.
Commissioner Wong, you
He
have
did not
spoken
cite
more
the
than
charter.
once.
So
So
again,
did
you
you
are
put
trying to
forth a
bury this
motion to change
motion
this?
at the end of the agenda. I just want to make it for the record that this is the fourth time this motion has been introduced. And this involves an appeals case by a citizen, our core responsibility to the community. It has been 2 months, and there has been no movement from the commission, because movement from the commission does not occur with an email by the executive director who is not a commissioner. Movement from the commission occurs by a majority vote of the commission. So if you have no
so
problem with
to
the records
the-
request,
to the
I don't
commissioner-
understand why you don't. If there's no
Okay,
difference,
To
we
the-
are
to the
talking about the
commissioner.
agenda, not
To
these
the
other
commissioner,
things. So you
the
have them?
first thing
so
we need
I'm
to
moving
recognize
that.
is
I would
that
like to move those
Commissioner
elements, and they
Wong.
should be. They went through committee, so they should be under accountability.
So
They went
Commissioner
to the
Wong,
accountability committee.
this doesn't work if we talk over each other.
I wasn't talking
So
over
what's
you.
going to happen is, right now, we're dealing with the agenda. What are we doing with the agenda? What is your proposal or change
My
to
proposal,
the agenda?
as I've stated before, is to move the motion for OPS case under accountability. It went through accountability. It is about police discipline. It needs to be nested. It is a part of my committee report. Every other committee, including,
Okay, so there's a
police
motion on the
policy-
floor to move the Tober motion onto under the accountability report under the committee reports. Can we
I will
have a second for
I
that?
will second that motion.
Okay, now, can we have a discussion about that second?
To the chair, if we probably should not have a discussion. There's no discussion to
just gonna
have.
vote.
We can just move on with the vote.
So we'll just take the vote?
One moment. Yeah. Oh. Okay, so I'm going to call for the vote to move the OPS case under accountability. And was it under old business? From old business to accountability? Okay, from new business to accountability. Co-Chair Adams?
Nay.
Commissioner Benito?
Nay.
Commissioner Chura?
Aye.
Commissioner Early?
Aye.
Commissioner Garrett Ferguson?
Nay.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Nay.
Commissioner Ridgway?
Aye.
Commissioner Rodriguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Wong?
Aye.
And I vote nay.
For clarity, can you read?
Nay.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Motion is 5 ayes, 5 nays, motion fails.
For clarity, if I may, we are saying then that we are not reviewing the OPS case at all tonight, or we're just reviewing it under accountability?
So for clarification, Commissioner Early, what we just did was we just did not move that case to be reported under accountability. Just for clarification for the community and everyone else, the case is open. The case has been open with CPC. We have requested the records. We have not received the records. We have been instructed to not move until we get all of the records so that we can do this properly. So that's currently where we stand with this case.
I make another
To
motion because.
the chair, before we move on, and I see that the community has something to say too as well. You can do it under public comment just so we keep order. But to the chair, I think that the other part is that we should have gotten an update on where we are in this process so that all of the commissioners know. Now, granted, before anybody says anything, yes, I was not at the last meeting, I get that. But that is not the point here. I think that all commissioners should be updated on the process of any cases that should be reviewed, where we are on step 1, step 2, and step 3. I'm not criticizing, I'm just asking if we can do that moving forward.
To the commissioner, I think that we can get some clarification on where the case is in the executive director report.
We're waiting for records. Yeah.
We are still currently waiting for those records. So I know that we are skirting the line of the compliance with our law, our bylaws, which says 15 days to do an analysis by the executive director for new cases, but we don't have the records. So we are aware that we are not in compliance with that rule. However, that rule was created by us. That 15-day deadline was arbitrary. It was sort of just put in place as a placeholder, but we may need to revisit that rule, and we might need to change sort of the time frame under which we get those things. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Just cut your mic up, that's all.
I think that. Quick question: Can community members hear us okay? Because it's kind of quiet on my end too. Okay. Is there any way to turn up the sound system at all?
I think we just do it here.
Okay. Then maybe commissioners.
I think I just
it's a
wasn't
little
speaking
quiet, yeah.
closely enough to them.
Yeah.
Commissioner Garrett Ferguson.
Yes, if I just may for a few minutes, I know we're not there yet, to provide some clarity. As someone who's also on the accountability committee, this case has came up about twice in our accountability meetings, along with another case that we also decided on how to move further from. I don't know if that's going to be a part of the accountability committee's chair, their update when they are talking about it, but we have had 2 cases, I believe, come to us. Mr. Turbor's case is one of them. One of the issues with that we also recognized was that if we was to read certain aspects of the motion without having all the files, it could unintentionally compromise the case. So we've been trying to make sure that for this particular case, because we know it is also a very high-profile case, that we are dotting our I's, crossing our T's, and that we are not going to say anything inflammatory that we have not viewed ourselves. So we don't want to jeopardize the integrity of the case and put it so that the person cannot get the justice that they deserve, if that is helpful.
Okay, so we are going to move on.
Co-chairs, I certainly think that the chair of accountability gets to correct her statement because
No,
this is
we are
inaccurate.
currently.
You're
So,
allowing
Commissioner
someone who's
Wong,
not the
please
chair. No,
refrain
I don't
from
understand
speaking.
why I'm correcting her
Point of
statements.
order,
I'm
point of
correcting the
order,
record.
Commissioner Wong,
Why are you cutting
already
off comment
spoke
at this
once.
point?
Your motion did not pass, we are
So I'm
moving
making
on.
another motion because it's still in the wrong place and it was not
So
old business that
Commissioner
we
Wong,
know.
so you just made a motion to move this item on the agenda.
According
The motion
to our
failed,
bylaws,
except
yes.
that the motion failed,
We
and
must
let
move
us
on.
move on because
So
we
then
have
we
not
need to
actually
make another
started
motion
this meeting. We
because
are still trying to adopt
we need
the
to
agenda, which is a formal thing that
we
takes
need
2
to
minutes.
make
Let us adopt
another
the agenda and move on with our meeting.
motion because it is in the wrong place. This is old business. You place it under
To the
new
chair.
business.
Commissioner Wong, you have put the motion forward.
To the
We
chair.
voted on the motion. It did not pass. You do not get to keep talking about the motion that we
Just let the
voted on.
motion be introduced
to the
instead of
chair.
buried
I
at the
just-
end of the agenda.
I know we need to vote on the agenda. I just have one more question. In terms of the paperwork and evidence that we're waiting on, has anybody reached out to Mr. Tolbert about the information and documents that he has, considering that he has won the case? And we could use those documents as well when we're under
Right.
the weight of waiting on the city to get us those documents.
Maybe what we can do
I
is
wanna say for the record-
under our executive director report, we can ask Jason those
Thank you.
questions.
Thank you. We'll
All of
address
the
it.
documents
So
for
we
his...
need to
I
move
would
on with
also,
adopting the
I would
agenda.
also like to say
All
that
the
Mr.
documents
Tolbert
for
is
his
here
case are in
in
the
our,
public record
Mr.
except
Tolbert
for
is here in
one.
our presence, and if we are operating, what we are trying to do is operate under what he wants. So he is here. In public comment, he can give us direction. So if we are proceeding in a manner that he does not like, it is his case. He has the opportunity tonight to tell us how he would like us to move. So my suggestion is going to be, the motion failed. We need to adopt the agenda. Mr. Tolbert will comment during the public comment period, and we will take direction from Mr. Tolbert.
I also make another, I have another motion
Commissioner
change.
Wong, you are out of
No, I have
order.
another motion change. There was
Commissioner
only
Wong,
one.
you are
Why
out of
Why are you
order.
putting new motions at the top of the
Because
agenda according to your?
because it's important, that's why.
I move to adopt the
You don't
agenda.
think Mr. Tolbert's motion is
Okay, we're going
important?
to move forward with the vote to adopt the agenda.
There's a motion on the floor to adopt the
I
agenda.
second.
Are there any more amendments to the agenda?
Yes,
Yes, Mr. Early.
I did have one. So I would like to add to old business at the end of the meeting for us to discuss the salaries for our female staff employees.
Okay.
Salaries for female staff employees.
I'll second that motion.
So if you.
There's a
I have
motion on the
question.
floor
Old business.
to add a discussion about the salaries for female employees, gender discrepancies. We have a second on the floor. Can we call for the vote?
I would like some discussion because if you put that under old business.
Commissioner Wong, you need to speak through the chair, and I
Please.
did not acknowledge you.
Please
So
acknowledge me.
remain
There has to
quiet
be-
until we,
Well, acknowledge me then.
you are not acknowledged. We need to get this motion in order.
There's a problem with this.
Commissioner Wong,
There's no
you have
discussion
not
on
been
this
addressed.
motion. Then you're putting another motion in front of Mr. Tolbert's motion again, because Mr. Tolbert's motion should be under old business in the least.
My motion can go last. Mr. Tolbert can go first. I just want it on the agenda.
Well,
So,
Mr. Tolbert's
so
motion
point
has
of
been moved to old
clarification
business.
to the commissioner. Mr. Early, Commissioner Early has suggested that his motion goes last. I don't think that conflicts with putting anything before Mr. Tolbert's motion.
Well, there's one motion in front of Mr. Tolbert's motion right now that should not be in front of it. So we
Commissioner
still have to
Wong.
Fix that.
We are going to take the vote.
It's unbelievable.
Motion to adopt the agenda.
We haven't voted on
No, we
Mr.
have to-
Early's
we have to
motion.
do his motion first.
So I guess we'll vote first on Commissioner Early's motion to add the gender salaries for female employees, gender discrepancies to the agenda. I guess myself, Commissioner Adams, I'm going to say yes. Commissioner Benito,
Aye.
Commissioner Chura,
Aye.
Commissioner Early,
Aye.
Commissioner Garrett Ferguson,
Aye.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Aye.
Commissioner Ridgway,
Aye.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Aye.
Commissioner Wong,
Aye.
and Commissioner Zayed.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously, 10 yay, 0 no. Motion will be added to the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
Do we have a second?
I second that motion.
Okay. Commissioner Adams?
Aye.
Commissioner Benito?
Aye.
Commissioner Chura?
Aye.
Commissioner Early?
Aye.
Commissioner Garrett Ferguson?
Aye.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Aye.
Commissioner Ridgway?
Aye.
Commissioner Rodriguez?
Aye.
Commissioner Wong?
Nay.
And I, Commissioner Zayed, aye. 9 yes, 1 no, it passes. We have adopted the agenda. Okay, we are going to move forward. With meeting decorum, guidelines for public comment, and the purpose of public comment is to hear as many community voices and points of view as possible. In order to achieve this, please follow the community guidelines. It is listed in your agenda. And for the sake of this meeting, Commissioner Adams think it would be best if, going forward, we limit the time of commissioners' comments to just 3 minutes. There are a lot of things for us to do on this agenda, and if commissioners were to speak 10 minutes each, 2 or 3 times, that means like 30 minutes each commissioner. We just don't have that much time. So each commissioner will speak on each motion once for 3 minutes. We will move on and call for the vote once that has happened. If anyone goes over that, there will be points of order made and also votes taken to discipline that commissioner within the meeting in real time.
Commissioner, do we need a timekeeper?
Would you like to do that? Okay.
I
would.
definitely would. I was about to say I
You got it,
definitely would.
John?
Chair,
Okay.
you can't change, you're suspending the rules of Robert's rules, so you will need to make a motion for that. because you can't just willy-nilly change the rules of discussion.
Okay, so is anyone willing to make a motion that we can amend our rules for this meeting,
I
that
make-
we can have 3 minutes so that we can get through all our business?
I make a motion that each commissioner will only speak for 3 minutes so that we can get through the entirety of our agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Can we have a discussion? Chair?
Sure, Commissioner Wong.
So you are decreasing, I believe, by, let's see, what is, you are decreasing the amount of time by 85%. 85%. I don't know why you are getting, so a commissioner has as much, and I think the public should have as much ability to speak as possible, but that you're limiting commissioners, you're not only limiting to one instance of speaking, but only, and also decreasing the time. So you're decreasing the time by 85% because there are no more motions, I think, than normal on this agenda. So I think in the least that we need to have 2 opportunities to speak because that creates a dialogue. If it is only 1 opportunity to speak, there's no response time for commissioners. And I would also like to know how you came up with that number. It seems
Through
a
the
little
chair.
bit random.
Through the chair.
Commissioner Early.
I think it's just simple, Terry. Commissioner Wong, I'm sorry. We want to make sure we get through the agenda in a timely manner, and not one commissioner should dominate the entire meeting with comments and references. Do what you have to do in 3 minutes so that we can get to the community, get to our business, and we can go home. That's really what this is about.
Commissioner Kennedy.
I think this motion, I don't see it as limiting everyone's time to talk to 85%, but perhaps making everyone's time to talk more equitable, because if you haven't noticed, time to talk during our commission meetings is not necessarily equitable. So if we can be limited to 3 minutes, this would allow it for us to be equitable. And if we can't be concise enough to have our commentary within 3 minutes, then perhaps we should pursue a different line of work.
To the commissioners, I think that we should pick how we speak carefully. And I think that it is not fair that we hear one voice predominantly in our meetings. So I think that we should listen to each other, and I think that we should pick when we want to speak more carefully. So that is my reason for supporting this motion. So to Commissioner Wong, what I want to tell you is, this is going to be your second time speaking, and this is going to be your final time speaking. So whatever you have to say, I would like for you to say it clearly and concisely and within the rules of this commission.
You can't turn your mic on. I don't think your mic on.
All right, I'm asking for clarification, not commenting. How long will we get for the committee reports? I mean, the policy committee has like 5. Are you limiting conversation?
To Commissioner Wong, I think that the motion on the floor deals with commissioners' comments and not with the actual reports. The commissioners who are giving their committee reports will have the sufficient time that they need to give those reports. However, what we will not do is editorialize and argue and go back and forth about every little minutia of every little thing and every little line. So what we're saying
you are
is,
editorializing right now, Co-Chair.
I'm clarifying the conditions.
And I can't help it that other commissioners have nothing to say.
Commissioner
because
Wong,
they're
what
not
I'm going to
doing
say
any work.
is, I'm going to ask you to not interrupt me because I do not interrupt you.
And do not
What
speak
we are
about
going
other
to do-
commissioners in a negative
He just
way.
did.
We are
He
going
spoke about me.
to limit the comments to 3 minutes. The committee reports will be given as that committee chair sees fit.
I make a
Do
motion to vote.
you understand that?
So we are going to call for the vote. Is this the? Yeah. Commissioner Adams,
Aye.
Commissioner Benito,
Aye.
Commissioner Chura, Commissioner Early,
Aye.
Commissioner Garrett Ferguson,
Aye.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Aye.
Commissioner Ridgway,
Aye.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Aye.
Commissioner Wong,
Nay.
and I, Commissioner Zayed, aye.
9 votes aye, 1 vote nay. Motion passes.
Okay, so the next part of our meeting is approval of the meeting minutes. So we have two sets of meeting minutes to approve, our last full commission meeting and also our special meeting minutes.
Second.
So does someone want to put forth a motion to approve the full commission meeting minutes?
I put a motion forward to approve the full commission meeting minutes for the last full commission and the special commission meeting.
Seconded.
Yeah, okay. Is there any discussion? Okay, we're going to call for the vote. Commissioner Adams?
Aye.
Commissioner Benito?
Aye.
Commissioner Chura? Commissioner Early?
Aye.
Commissioner Gare Ferguson?
Aye.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Aye.
Commissioner Ridgway?
Aye.
Commissioner Rodriguez? Commissioner
Abstain.
Wong?
Abstain.
And I, Commissioner Zayed, aye. Thank you.
So the votes are 8 aye, 0 nays, 2 abstain. Motion carries.
Okay, so next we need a motion to approve the meeting minutes for our special meeting. Oh, that was both? Okay, okay,
I didn't see.
okay. So the next part of our meeting is the public comment period. We ask that each person limit their comment to, is it 3 minutes now? To 3 minutes, thank you. The first person is Lou. Lou here? I didn't see Lou. She's not here? Okay, she's on the list. Isn't that her?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, the next person on the list is Anna Maria Ham.
Thank you for having me tonight. I've got a couple of comments. One, as you're reviewing the police commanders, I spoke this in a community meeting with Christopher Harsh a couple weeks ago. I'm asking that you look kindly on, or wait heavily on the next police commission, or excuse me, the police commander of their districts, that they live in or around the vicinity. I think that's a really good thing for their community. And secondly, I'm an Old Brooklyn resident. I've lived in Old Brooklyn for over 20 years. In full transparency, I am married to a police captain. But I think that we also need to look at, you talk about morale, you know, you're on both sides of the court here, and I think you really need to look at the 2nd District. You're sitting in the 2nd District right now. The 2nd District Police Station is deplorable. Oftentimes there's no heat, there's rats running amok, and we put these officers' lives on the line every day, and they have to come back and they have to do reports where there's no heat in their district. I can tell you for sure, if you go to the 3rd District Police Station, which is state-of-the-art and brand new, the morale of those officers are going to be greater than those in the 2nd District. So I urge you to put that on your agenda to see what we can do about getting these officers a place where they can actually have heat and do work in peace.
The next person, is it Kayla Gallup? Gallup?
I think if they start up the comment.
Oh.
Stars are
Oh, okay.
It's Caleb Pinkett.
Okay. The next person is Kayla Pincus.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kayla. Yeah. Well, okay. I don't have too much to say. I do hope that you guys will stick with your plan here, and if there's too much out of order activity, that you go forward with implementing the immediate discipline for that commissioner, if that happens, so that we can keep things moving along. I'm a supporter of that. And I also wanted to say that I hope that even though, you know, there are different tracks going on right now for different things that you guys are working on, and some of them you've reached out to the city for, and some are internal processes that you still have power over, and my ask would be that you don't wait for the city to get back to you about certain matters, whatever they may be, that you go forward with your own process to establish, to keep things moving forward. And I know that's a little bit vague, and I apologize. If you have more questions, please ask me. I'm trying to be brief, which I struggle with. And then please put out an RFP for consultants for help. I think that anybody who pays attention to kind of things that are going on right now can see that you need help, and it's okay. It's okay to need help. You know, there was a commission prior that needed help, and they asked for it, and they put out an RFP for consultants, and it was helpful, I think, and you know, and it brought things back together, and it's okay. It's okay to be struggling. I'm not just speaking. I mean, I might end up applying for something like that, but I'm not actually speaking about myself. I'm speaking about you guys, and it's okay to ask for help. And there are people who want to help you. There aren't a million people who are qualified to do that, but there are some people who want to help. And then the last thing I just want to say is that Commissioner Benito, I want to just give props where I feel they're due. And personally, I experience you putting in an enormous amount of work. I think that will be shown through the course of this meeting of everything that you've been taking initiative with. You help other people. You go from helping other people onto a plane overnight, over into going to work and going to commission meetings and doing more. And I just want to make sure that when people are doing good stuff, that we say that. And so thank you on behalf of the community and, you know, myself. So thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list is Antoine Tobert.
How y'all doing today? Good, good. Grateful to be here. We've been showing up to the last few commission meetings, and we've been tuning in online as well. And I would like to say the youth at my academy, some of the conduct, it's like shameful. Just being honest. We have children watching, and they're watching grown folks bicker, and just a total delay of the whole process. And it's not doing us as the community members, me as a complaint, it's not doing me any service. That's number one. And number two, I would like to say that as a grown man, I speak for myself. All right, I know a lot of you do great community work and you're advocates and all of those things, but I'm more than capable of speaking for myself. So I want to make that clear first and foremost. Number three, I spoke with Mr. Goodrick. Right, we had a conversation a few days before the commission met, and I just gave him a rundown on the situation that took place and whatnot. And he asked me what I wanted. Now, being unfamiliar with this process, I said that I wanted a very thorough investigation. Right, not understanding that there was a time frame for an assessment to be made. I want that assessment made for Sergeant Henderson separately, just so there's no confusion. You're hearing it out of my mouth. I want the assessment made for Sergeant Henderson separately, right? And then the other officers involved, that's a different case. So I want those separated. Please and thank you, right? And with the situation with Sergeant Henderson, I don't want you all to wait for more information to come from the city. I think that there's enough information provided to move forward with, at minimum, an assessment. That's all I'm asking for, a thorough assessment. Again, so because this is a case and I'm the complainant on the case, and I don't want to say anything that may jeopardize what's taking place here, because this case is going to set precedent. This case is going to set precedent. There is national attention on this high-profile case. I don't want to say the wrong thing and jeopardize what's taking place here. And there's a reason why certain commissioners are recusing themselves from this case, based on who I am. So we're not going to overlook that, right? So that's all. I appreciate y'all. I just want y'all to do what y'all been asked to do what y'all been tasked to do. It's not that complicated. And the CPRB wasn't able to issue out a higher level of reprimandment for this sergeant because they weren't capable. You know, it was in their manual that they couldn't go against what the safety director had implemented, which was that 13-day suspension. However, they did disagree. So that says enough in itself. All right, so I just want y'all to move forward. I want y'all to move forward swiftly. I want y'all to be thorough, and I'm here. There should be constant communication between the complainant and the commissioners, especially when it comes to the investigatory hearing, because I do have information. My attorney does have information that has not been released to the public. So I want to make that clear, make it swift, and I want that assessment done. Please and thank you.
Cameron Demasla.
Hey everyone. I wanted just to speak today a bit about the process related to the Tolbert case so far, all of the facts as far as I know it, and where the holdups are, and what you all need to be doing right now. The complaint was brought in on either February 2nd or February 3rd, and there is an initial report that needed to be provided 15 days after that complaint was brought in. Currently, Jason Goodrick is telling you all that you cannot move forward because there are public records requests that have been submitted, and he needs that information to provide an initial report. That does not seem to be, reading through the rules, necessary at all. It is asking for all the known facts, all the things that are available. There are other ways you can get this information other than public records requests. There's no reason that you need to delay this until the city gives you all public records. Because right now, I don't think you all are being honest that this case will not move forward right now through the rules that are in place until the city agrees to this public records request. You all have the ability to request records, not even request records, the city has to give you them if you assert that authority as a commission. So there's no need to be waiting for the city right now. You can get records through any other means. There are records already publicly available. You can have the initial report done. You can provide that to the accountability committee. The accountability committee can bring that to the commission, and this can follow the actual process. Or you all can move forward with the motion that Terry Wong is putting forward, which works around the fact that Goodrick is in violation of the rules. Those are your two options to move this forward in a reasonable amount of time. But instead, the thing that is at the top of the agenda today is to write a letter to Mayor Bibb to remove Terry Wong. That's ridiculous.
Greg Levy.
Good afternoon. I have a few questions. When will we begin hearing cases for police misconduct? What is the plan for combating non-compliance by state agencies? Will the commission call for a press conference to explain why to the public while there's no immediate plan for the commission to begin hearing cases with a date scheduled for a case? It's my assertion that any proceedings by this body that don't actually include or lead directly to this committee actually hearing cases of police misconduct indicate that this body is out of order and its behavior is unacceptable. As a community, we require that this community actually adjudicate cases in defense of our community members who have been wronged by the police. Mr. Tolbert has credible claims against the CPD. Any attempts to avoid hearing his case are an example of misleadership. We will not accept incompetent or unprincipled leadership. It's not a lack of manners that is the primary problem in this committee. It's the fact that the committee is not actually compelled to accomplish results. It is our job as a community to make sure that that's not the case. Thank you.
Rosie Palfy. Okay. Johnny Ham.
Good evening, everybody. Johnny Ham. I'm a resident of Old Brooklyn here. Also a captain with the Cleveland Division of Police. I used to attend these meetings fairly regularly before you guys became the commission. stop that because of my rank position where I got, but also because people started kind of confusing whether I'm speaking as the citizen or the officer, and that's kind of a little bit of a razor's edge I try to walk. But I want to start out with the new co-chairs doing a fabulous job of taking control. You've taken the last year, and I'm not knocking the previous ones. They had to learn this process, but you saw what was happening, you made adjustments, and you're making corrections, and you're able to move forward. So I just want to say that's very impressive for me, and I believe some of the people out here as well, that you're helping move this forward. I also recently watched the Pursuit work group. You had that online. And if that is any indication of how the other work groups are going, there's a lot of inaccuracies being said and promulgated from those work groups. The executive director mentioned the previous policy was a pursue at all costs, and I'm paraphrasing, policy, which there's never been a policy like that within the Cleveland Division of Police. There's always been restrictions. And in fact, the latest policy that you have has my initials at the bottom. I'm a driving instructor. I worked in the policy for 4 years. I sat in on all the meetings for all the decisions that were made about that policy. So if you have any questions about that policy, there's one person you should really be talking to about it. And I don't know if no one's ever told you this, or you're just finding out, or no one is allowed to sit in there from the division, but I'm not able to interject myself without the approval of other people. In order to get that approval from other people, someone else may need to do the ask, because I can't ask for that. Also in that meeting, there were some discussions, and I think some of the people in the audience here are as well trying to push you into things that you might not be ready to go to yet. What you want to do is, there's no need to rush. You want to have quality over quantity. You really want this to work out and be well. There's no timeline. You dictate what your timelines are going to be, for the most part, other than for a few minor ones as mentioned here. Those you need to follow. But as for when you get stuff done, it is much better to get it done right and to be legally defensible than to rush through it and have it be beat up in court later on, or the city having to pay more money to somebody else.
Thank you, sir. That is your time. We appreciate
Okay.
everything you're saying.
Thank you.
And we hear you. Next on the list is Ms. Samaria Rice.
Thank you. Hello, commissioners.
Hello.
I just wanted to say I had a few questions.
Can you get a little closer to the mic?
Oh, okay. Excuse me, I'm extremely tired, but can y'all hear me? Hi, commissioners. I see that there's still a little dysfunction here, but it is a little bit better, so thank you all for that. I had a couple questions. I want to know, since you all been commissioners, and anyone can answer this, how many cases have you all reviewed with misconduct, police conduct? Have y'all been able to review any of them? Terry,
One.
please.
We reviewed one appeal case, and the other one, we've only received 2 appeal cases. Okay, sorry, but I just wanted to give you that
I
information.
didn't know that y'all couldn't respond. So that would probably be something I would like to know. Maybe the community would like to know how many cases been reviewed since you all been commissioners, and maybe what was the outcome of them. Also, I think someone said that you don't need reports to go further investigating the cases. And I'm going to strongly suggest that you all listen to that, because y'all don't need Y'all don't need, y'all, they supposed to give y'all the reports. Y'all were put here because of the consent decree, remember? So they supposed to do everything that y'all say. So please use y'all power wisely, and hopefully y'all can use it together to get the results that the community need and want to, for us to move forward. We're hearing more cases, because I'm sure there's many more cases that needs to be reviewed and heard, and have the assessment investigations as they should. That's all I wanted to say, so thank you.
Thank you. Next is Latanya Goldsby.
Good afternoon, or good evening, everybody. My name is Latanya Goldsby. I'm the president and co-founder of Black Lives Matter Cleveland, as well as the president of Citizens for a Safer Cleveland. And so I come here today to talk to you all about why this commission is so important and why it was created. It was created for accountability, but it was also created for fairness, because that's what we have not seen when it comes to holding police accountable. But my question to you is, how can you expect us to believe that you're going to be capable of holding police accountable when you don't hold yourselves accountable? There is a motion to have Commissioner Terry Wong removed. In June of last year, Citizens for a Safer Cleveland held a press conference. We sent a letter to this commission, to the federal judge, as well as you all, calling for the resignation and removal of Alana Garrett Ferguson due to her behaviors that was exhibited during a public meeting during June 14th of that year. It went unanswered. You all swept it under the rug like nobody even saw it. And it was on public record, documented, on TV. Everybody saw it. We still watching it, because the behavior still continues to this day. So we're calling for fairness. So if you present that motion to the mayor, you better make sure her name is on it. You better make sure her name is on it. That's fair. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Brenda Bickerstaff.
How y'all doing? It's been 22 years since my brother got killed by the police. Unfortunately, we did a balloon release on the 26th of January this year. But we all came together, myself, Samaria Rice, Latanya, Richard Jackson, and Kareem. We want this to be fair across the board. And what we're hearing tonight is, no disrespect to you, Mr. Tolbert, we don't want to hear bidding for your situation. I'm not being rude. You should be quiet. Be quiet. Now, with Captain Ham, sometimes we agree to disagree. I agree with him. You can't let somebody come here and shake you. If I come up there and say, well, you better do it, you better say, well, Ms. Bickerstaff, we're going to follow the charter. That's the way that go. You don't deviate away from the charter. You got to follow that charter. Stop doing that. Stop letting people shake you. Because I will back you up 150%, and you guys know that. I'm going to use another example. Once again, I'm a founder of Citizens for Safer Cleveland, but that's the president. And sometimes we agree to disagree, but guess what? I got to shut up because she's the president. She was elected. And if she say, Brenda, go downtown to a council meeting and sit and observe, that's what she expects for me to do. Don't deviate away from that. I get it, you can agree to disagree, but why do you have to continue to do it on camera? I don't understand that. Me and Johnny Ham, Captain Ham too, clash. However, if he pulls me over the traffic and stop, I'm saying, oh, my brother got killed by the police, I'm gonna flick the bird and keep on going. The judge's gonna say, that's not my problem. You broke the law. What does your brother's death have to do with you running from a cop? Come on, guys, get it together. We want this to be fair. We don't want nobody coming saying nothing. I'm a private investigator. We tell our clients all the time, shut up. Pastor Phillips was a former prosecutor. He knows what I'm talking about. He's had to tell people in his profession, you know, you need to be quiet. Now, moving on, I expect you guys to do what you're supposed to do. But you keep deviating away from that. This ain't about you. This is about people that lost their lives. We're trying to prevent people from losing their lives. We're trying to prevent misconduct. You got to show the police what you about. You think they're going to listen to you? I wouldn't. I'd be like, yeah, whatever. I ain't doing nothing they say. Look how they act. But you keep doing it.
Thank you very much, Ms.
Thank you.
Bickerstaff.
Now we'll talk to them about them rats.
So our public comment is over. Thank you. We've heard everything you have to say. We hear you. We're listening. We're going to go back and discuss these things you guys brought up and work to address them. Next is our very, very important motions that we put up for us to discuss. First, the motion to populate a discipline and investigation committee. Who has that motion?
I have that motion, Chair.
Okay.
May I present?
Yes, Commissioner Kennedy.
Good evening, everybody. This motion is a continuation of the motion that was passed on February 28th of 2024. I'll read the language of tonight's motion now. Whereas its meeting on February 28th, 2024, the Cleveland Community Police Commission passed a resolution voted to form a discipline investigation committee to investigate allegations regarding the conduct of Commissioner Terry Wong and to report its findings to the full commission. It is hereby resolved that Commissioners Kate Kennedy, Gregory Reeves, and Pete Van Leer are appointed to this committee.
Is there a second for this motion?
I'll second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Commissioner Kennedy, you can go first if you would like to discuss anything. Okay, is there anyone that would like to say something in regards to this motion, or can we just call for the vote?
Commissioner Wong.
I would like to say that I opposed this committee to begin with because it seems impossible for commissioners to investigate each other. It creates a massive conflict of interest. I had proposed that if we are serious about doing a fair investigation, that we get a third-party investigator to investigate. I will emphasize again that it has been 2 months and I have not received any specific charges other than the fact that I guess I canceled some meetings and was perceived as being rude in emails when I was not rude in emails to people. And I think that this is an extraordinarily impossible and we're turning basically into the very entities and organizations that we are opposing. I have a specific concern as to how these commissioners were selected, especially, if I may, Commissioner Kennedy, because I think she has a massive conflict of interest, because I was the only commissioner as the chair of rules when Commissioner Kennedy violated. There is only one specific indication of how a commissioner can be removed in our bylaws, and that is for chronic absenteeism. And Commissioner Kennedy, unfortunately, through whatever reason, fulfilled that criteria, missing about 40% of the meetings in the first 6-month period. I wrote a letter to the mayor, and it says in our bylaws that she must be removed, recommended for removal without a commission vote to the mayor, and the mayor must consider it. The mayor refused to consider this. I think it's very problematic. I'm concerned that because, and I didn't take this, action personally against you. It was just something that was explicitly said in the rules. Well, and then I am also concerned by Ms. Kennedy's refusal to admit conflicts of interest that she has with the city. She has a previous business relationship with the planning director of the city, and she was used by Mr. Mark Griffin as the stand-in for the commission's attorney. This makes me very concerned that she is not able to serve independently in her ability to push forward the mission of the commission. And I again want to ask just a clarifying question. How were these commissioners selected? Can I just ask that question and get a response? Was there a discussion? Because I never received an email asking for anybody. Mr. Chura, did you receive an email asking people to be on this committee? How was this decided in a small group outside public view without an email? Or was this offer given to all commissioners?
So to the commissioner, if there's anyone who would like to add themselves to this committee, they are more than welcome to add themselves.
That wasn't answering the question. How was it? Yeah.
They volunteered.
So, but I saw, I mean, I know I could be CC'd on the email, but I should be, since I'm the person that being investigated, I should probably be notified of every step that you're taking. So I do not remember any email sent out. Was an email sent out
to the
all
commissioner? We would like to
soliciting?
keep this meeting on track.
So
Point is well taken. If you would like to be CC'd on the communications with anyone who wants to be on the committee, we can do that.
but you didn't answer the question. How were they, was it
Commissioner Wong,
offered?
that is your time. That is
Was
your
it
time.
offered?
Commissioner Wong, do you want to speak?
She's not allowed to speak again.
I haven't taken up my 3 minutes.
It doesn't know, it's only
Commissioner
one time.
Ridgway?
To the chairs and fellow commissioners, I just have a need to have this clarified for me. So at the February 28th meeting, there was a motion made that passed to establish a discipline and investigation committee. So what I'm asking is, was this committee established to look at discipline for any commissioner with misconduct, or was it established specifically to deal with Commissioner Wong? And if it's the latter, how do we move the results of this committee so that it has application to every single commissioner with misconduct in terms of behavior on this commission? And that's what I don't really understand. And I thought those 3 people were appointed. I didn't think it was a volunteer.
To respond to the chair, so one of the things that we have is we do have a draft accountability process that was sent out in January to the Rules Committee. We have not had the ability to review it yet, but that would lay out a full process that could be used to hold any commissioner accountable. My understanding is the reason why this committee was established was because that rule is not in place yet, and and according to Robert's rules, internal investigation is how Robert's rules suggest, or how Robert's rules lays out how to internally discipline a commissioner. So once we have that larger policy, then we won't have to do something like create this a committee to investigate, as it would lay out the whole process. So that process should be coming once we're able to get it through the Rules Committee.
That's the second piece, and I'm done. So do they, for lack of a better explanation, does the twain meet? Will there be a time when the results of this Discipline and Investigation Committee, will their results go and being included in the policy or the procedure that you're creating, or will that become part of this committee, or are we working on 2 separate tracks?
2 separate tracks.
I mean, I think that the goal would be to have I think that by the time, so the Rules Committee still hasn't been able to look at it yet. We still need to conclude 1.4.5, and then we also have the evidentiary hearing protocol to look at that is time sensitive. So I would say that even if we were able to get to that in this month's meeting, we wouldn't be able to pass that until the next full commission meeting, which would be at the soonest the end of April. And so I think the concern is that we need to address this sooner than
Okay,
that.
thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
That has been the time. Commissioner Early?
I was just saying, y'all, I think it's confusing that we're investigating each other when we should be investigating cases. I think the other part of this is, and again, I'm not trying to cause tension amongst the commissioners, but if we're all not going to be held accountable, then I'm not voting just to single out one person. If I'm wrong, if I'm not on task, I need to be removed. That goes for everybody across the board. I make a motion that we table this until the rule is passed, and then we can focus in on how we evaluate each and every commissioner. But this investigation stuff is beyond me, because I'm not investigating none of y'all.
So just to the commissioner, how this came about was that we were informed by our attorney that out of respect for each of us as a public official, that we would not want to put certain things out into the ether in case someone is exonerated. So I think that the reason why we're doing this committee is basically to protect commissioners from having things put out in public that may harm them. In my opinion, this committee will help us to get those processes and procedures in place. I mean, it's a two-track thing, like you said. Yeah. On the one hand, we need to deal with the behavior of Commissioner Wong, but in the process of doing that, we need to create a process that will be applicable to every commissioner. We do not have that in place in part because of the lack of leadership on the Rules Committee. So we're in a situation where we do not have rules in place because there was lackluster leadership on the Rules Committee, and now everyone's saying, look at the rules, but we don't have the rules because there was no leadership on the Rules Committee. So we have to figure out, we have to move.
I definitely respect the co-chairs on this. What I'm saying is, y'all, we all got terms. We're going to be evaluated when our term is up, and if we did a good job, we'll be back. If we didn't, we won't be here. This is a lot of time taken up. What I just feel is just unnecessary for one commissioner. All commissioners need to be evaluated on the same basis. We cannot single out one person, and it's a witch hunt if we do that. So let's stop it, and let's get to work so we can investigate some cases.
Okay. So I want to speak to that. So I was going to say this before the motion to remove Commissioner Wong, but I'll just say it now because it's been coming out. First things first, I sent a text message today saying someone needs to put forth a motion, because I can't do it as co-chair, to remove Alana Garrett Ferguson. I was told that it couldn't be done today. And also, I said, well, regardless if it gets done or not, I'm sending the letter to the mayor. So it's going to happen. The letter is going to be sent. I'm going to do it. So with that being said, we put these things on the motion first to address critical issues that have persisted in our group over the past year. Since our inception in our first meeting on January 25th, 2023, 2 commissioners have consistently exhibited disturbing and unacceptable behavior. This behavior has hindered our ability to function at our highest capacity and has caused significant delays in our work. As co-chairs, Commissioner Adams and I cannot allow another day to pass without taking a stand to stabilize our commission. While this situation is far from ideal, it is imperative that we address these issues and determine the necessary actions to rectify them. One of the commissioners in question has engaged in aggressive, alarming, and threatening behaviors towards our staff. Such conduct is entirely unacceptable and undermines the integrity and effectiveness of our commission. We must hold ourselves accountable and take decisive steps to address these concerns. Not addressing these behaviors would speak volumes about our integrity and commitment to serving the community. It is important to clarify that the issues lie with a small minority of commissioners and not with the entire commission or our dedicated staff. Oversight is necessary, but it must be conducted by individuals who exhibit appropriate behavior and judgment. As the Community Police Commission, we have a duty to ensure the fair and unbiased treatment of all our citizens and officers. Therefore, I cannot in good conscience allow these commissioners to hear any case involving officers. Our officers are important members of our community, and it is our responsibility to make decisions on their best interests. We cannot expect officers to speak out against misconduct if we ourselves do not do the same thing. Under our leadership, Commissioner Adams and I, such behavior will not be tolerated. As community members with diverse life experiences, we refuse to perpetuate the status quo of what goes on in Cleveland nowadays. And so my conclusion to this is, let's commit to upholding the integrity of our commission and serving the community with honesty, transparency, and respect. We have to take this stance now. So whatever, I don't care what this vote says, 2 letters are going out. 2 letters are going out. And I'm going to say this, I was called by a commissioner emotional when I stated the reason why I am here. I am here because December 20th of 2019, my cousin was killed in a police chase that violated policy. So that is why I'm here. So if anybody, it's not for self-aggrandizement, it's not because I have a friend at City Hall. I don't want to be a politician. I want to work towards police reform so our officers can be supported, but also held accountable. Every single interaction I've had with a police officer up until this point as a commissioner has been positive. They want to work with us. It's not our staff that's causing the problems. It's not so far the police. It's these commissioners. So we're going to work on that today. So we're going to move forward with this, with the rest of the discussion around this motion. Commissioner Kate Kennedy, you're next.
Some questions were asked about the purpose of this committee, so I just want to make sure it's clear. The purpose of the committee is to create the documentation that Commissioner Wong has been requesting. I honestly was asked to serve on this committee. I did not really volunteer myself, but I think it's a really important work in terms of accountability. If Commissioner Wong has an issue with what I was told in writing of how the rules applied to our attendance last year, she can take that up with Executive Director. I did exactly what I was told, so that's one thing. And the other thing is I don't have any business relationships with anyone at City Hall. I just have a habit of building more bridges than I burn. So I think that about covers it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kennedy. If there's not any further discussion, we're going to move for the vote. Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Chura.
I'll volunteer for the Discipline and Investigation Committee.
Okay.
Do you want to make a friendly amendment to add yourself? Because I think the motion's been made.
Whatever it takes.
You know what? I'll make a friendly amendment to add Commissioner Chura to the membership.
Okay, so I'm going to call a vote for that first.
We need a second.
Oh, anyone second?
I'll second.
Okay, so we're going to call the vote to add Commissioner Chura to the Discipline and Investigation Committee. I'll call the vote. Commissioner Adams?
Aye.
Commissioner Benito?
Aye.
Commissioner Chura? Aye. Commissioner Early?
Aye.
Commissioner Garrett Ferguson?
Abstain.
Commissioner Kate Kennedy?
Aye.
Commissioner Ridgway?
Aye.
Commissioner Rodriguez?
Aye.
Commissioner Wong?
Aye.
And I, Commissioner Zayed, vote yes. So that passed. We're going to move forward for the vote of a motion to populate the Discipline Investigation Committee with Commissioners, was it Chura, Kennedy, Reeves? Is there somebody else? No, that's different. On Van Leer. With me and Alana. Okay, so we are going to call for the vote.
No, I'm not going to do that one. For the commanders? Yeah. No.
I'm going to put it on the side. Okay. Commissioner Adams?
Aye.
Commissioner Benito?
Aye.
Commissioner Chura?
Aye.
Commissioner Early? Aye. Commissioner Garrett Ferguson?
Abstain.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Aye.
Commissioner Ridgway?
Aye.
Commissioner Rodriguez?
Aye.
Commissioner Wong?
Nay.
And I, Commissioner Zayed, vote yes. That passed. Eight yes, and one no, and one person abstained. So we're going to move forward with the next item on the agenda, motion to establish the Performance and Hiring Committee.
Yes, I would like to introduce a motion. It was brought out from the ad hoc hiring work group. Whereas the Cleveland Community Police Commission is vested with the responsibility to interview and recommend candidates for a police commander and inspector general to the mayor, as per City of Cleveland Charter Amendment 115.5. Whereas the commission is granted the authority to exercise independent judgment and offer critical analysis in the performance of their duties without interference or non-cooperation from any person, group, or organization as outlined in the charter. Whereas it is imperative for the commission to maintain connection and collaboration with representatives of disenfranchised communities and other community groups throughout the city, and in alignment with the purposes of its establishment. Be it therefore resolved that the Cleveland Community Police Commission hereby establishes a performance and hiring committee for the following purposes: to review and interview all external candidates for commander and leadership positions within the Cleveland Division of Police. Committee members shall utilize a scoring rubric to assess applications, including materials such as resumes, cover letters, notes from CDP interviews, disciplinary records, previous job evaluations, and use of force reports. Engage in a multi-step process that includes community forums and at least 2 rounds of interviews for candidates. Provide a list of recommended candidates to the full commission for approval and appointment by the mayor. Provide timely updates on the hiring process to the full commission and seek additional assistance when necessary for larger hiring quotas. I move to adopt this motion and establish the Performance and Hiring Committee effective immediately. Do I have a second?
Okay, is there a second for this motion?
Second. Thank you. Couldn't get it out fast
Okay,
enough.
any discussion? Ms. Garrett Ferguson, you can go first if you like.
No.
Okay, who's next?
Just move on.
Any discussion? Okay.
I think we also wanted to provide an opportunity for people to volunteer if they want to be a part of this committee, so I wanted to, is there any?
I want to be on it, of course.
So far, the interest was Commissioner Garrett Ferguson and Commissioner Rodriguez, and I can serve on it if needed.
No, you don't.
But I would prefer not to. Yeah. So yeah, I do not want to serve on it. So, but we do need some more members.
We can, do we have to amend anything, or we could, do they just join? Oh, yeah, so.
To the chair, if we do not have another commissioner to volunteer, then one of the chairs will sit on to populate it, to keep it going. So if you don't have to decide now, but if you decide you want to do it later, then you can come on, but the chairs will be able to populate that committee.
Okay, if there's not any further discussion, we're going to move forward with this motion, the voting. So, Co-Chair Adams?
Aye.
Commissioner Benito?
Aye.
Commissioner Chura?
Aye.
Commissioner Early?
Aye.
Commissioner Garrett Ferguson?
Aye.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Aye.
Commissioner Ridgway,
Aye.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Aye.
Commissioner Wong,
Aye.
and myself, Commissioner Zayed, I vote yes. Okay, so next item on the agenda is a motion to send a letter to Mayor Bibb to remove Commissioner Wong.
One thing I want to add is there's been some discussion tonight about some of the different, the investigation committee, and then obviously we're making this motion. And I just want to kind of be clear that the investigation committee, the purpose of that is to do an investigation internally so we can determine how the commission can discipline, sanction, censure a commissioner. Right now, there's nothing in our bylaws and nothing in the charter that says how we can do that. So we have no power to remove anybody from a committee to say that they, to put any sanctions on somebody. And so that is the purpose of that committee, is so that that process can go through. What the charter does say is that the mayor has the ability, is the only person who can remove a commissioner from the commission. And so separately, I just kind of want to make clear that this is a separate track where we still have this investigation committee that is going to look at, because we can't make the mayor do anything. We can send a letter to the mayor saying that we want, that we are requesting that he remove a commissioner, but he might not. And so therefore we still need to, before we ourselves do any discipline or any censure, we need to have a committee that can look at that, and then as per Robert's rules, and then hopefully we will develop a process soon so that there is a more formally laid out process. But because the mayor does have charter authority to remove a commissioner, and we are making the following motion. Whereas the Cleveland Community Police Commission was established to respond to community needs and concerns regarding regulation of the city's police force and community police relations, and whereas City Charter 115.5 says the mayor may remove any commission member for malfeasance, misfeasance, nonfeasance, or gross neglect of duty, and whereas Commissioner Wong's conduct has created a hostile work environment for Cleveland Community Police Commission staff and commissioners, impeded the ability of the commission to fulfill its responsibilities under the charter and the consent decree, and has damaged public confidence in the commission and rises to the level of misfeasance. Therefore, be it resolved that the Cleveland Community Police Commission hereby requests the Commission's co-chairs to author a letter on behalf of the Commission to request that Mayor Justin Bibb use the authority granted to him by Charter 115.5 to remove Commissioner Terry Wong. The co-chairs shall be empowered by the full authority of the Commission to complete the due diligence they deem necessary to adequately complete this assignment and any other subsequent tasks relevant to this motion.
For clarity to the chair, if the co-chairs have already said they're going to send a letter regardless, do we need to vote on this?
We wanted to just go through with it to get people's wishes on the record with the votes.
To clarify for the commissioner, the co-chairs do not need this vote to send a letter. However, considering where we were in the past year, where there is mistrust and people think that there are secret meetings and people think that things are happening behind the scenes, we thought that transparency would be best. As was stated by Co-Chair Zayed, we are sending letters, but we think that this is the most transparent and the most open way to do it. So we're hoping we can get the support of the full commission, but we do feel our duties as co-chairs is to protect this commission and to do what is best for it.
Does this need a second? Second.
Commissioner Benito, you can speak first if you like.
I'm okay.
Okay. Would anybody like to speak, have any discussion or debate? Go do it. So, Commissioner Ridgway?
Yes, there are two comments to the chair and fellow commissioners. There are two comments that I want to make. I'm going to repeat a comment that I made when this motion came to the table at the last meeting. And that question to the commission was, where are the rules that govern the behavior of commissioners? I believe that if we don't have those rules, if we have not formalized those rules, that we are charting a potentially dangerous path when we arbitrarily decide to act on a commissioner's behavior without a set of rules that will become the standard to govern all commissioners as far as their behavior. I remember when the whole discussion came up last summer and no rules were on the table. We didn't do anything with it. Now we're back where we are again. We're moving forward again with no rules, and it's an arbitrary movement that we're making. So if some of us, and I'm not saying what I'm saying to support nor deny the behavior of Commissioner Wong. I am about process. Those of you who have seen me on this commission have heard me. I am about process. And we need those rules to support any decision we make. To not do that, next month it may be somebody else you don't like or you think they have misbehaved, and now you want to remove them too. Put the rules in place to allow us to make sound decisions so that we don't get a kickback on those decisions we make that are arbitrary. I just think we need to make the rules. And if the reason there are no rules, is because a commissioner who could be affected by those rules chairs that committee, you had other people on that committee. So those other people on the committee could have overrode that chair. They could have deselected that chair. So there are all these things that could have been put in place. I know I've met my timeline, but I also the second thing I want to say is this, that the motion that you just made says that the co-chair should be empowered by the full authority of the commission. If you're going to send this forward, whether we vote to approve it or not, that statement needs to be removed from this motion.
You want to make a friendly amendment?
And I'm going to say this with all due respect. This is not an arbitrary decision. This decision was made after a commissioner walked into the office and threatened and was aggressive with the staff. When people's safety and their work environment is being threatened, yeah, to the point where one of the workers had to go home and they were working from home because of the threat. So with that being said, this is far from arbitrary. The first motion, I did not approve that. This one I do. Because when people's safety is in question, things have to be done. And I understand rules and process, but sometimes when it's a serious situation, you have to act. We can't wait for a rule to act on something that is as important as safety. So I'm sorry, with all due respect, we don't have time to wait for rules. We will get to that when we get to that, but we need to do something now. We need to act.
Renegade Commission.
We have Commissioner Kent.
Thank you, Chair. Also, the chairs have made their own decision on the letter that they decide to send, but I think it's important for all of us commissioners to be on the record on this issue. It's not just up to the chairs. We need to be able to hold each other accountable, and it's not just up to the chairs. And we need to all be brave enough to make a decision and stand on it. Part of the problem here is that the Rules Committee is the committee in question that we're discussing tonight, so we would love to make some rules, but rules are being chaired by the person that we are in the process of.
I'm not the chair anymore.
Okay, so to the commissioner, we have a list. You will be next on the list. Please allow the commissioner to finish their comment.
Or who I should say up until very recently was the chair, so we did not have the ability to create the rules in question. However, the rules that are in place that we do have to abide by are the Ohio Ethics Commission. Those are pretty clear. And also the rules that the City of Cleveland employees have to abide by. And those are rules that have been reviewed. So very concerned obviously about what's been going on with the staff. That's been something that was recently brought to us and something that's not acceptable. They can't be working in a hostile work environment. Unfortunately, Commissioner Wong appears to be hate tweeting about me in the present moment, and I would like to offer no better example than a hostile work environment than the table I'm sitting at right now. A business relationship does not equal two people volunteering together, Commissioner Wong. Perhaps I should figure out what my Twitter password is, because it's been years since I've been on Twitter. And I'm going to leave you with this. Nope, it sure isn't. I'm going to leave you with this. Last summer, when I, again, did exactly what I was advised to do by Executive Director Goodrick, I was about to embark on a hike with my family to spread the ashes of an uncle of mine who replaced my father, who passed away. And on that day, I received an email that was sent by Commissioner Wong asking for me to be removed. And for anyone that's ever had to bury someone that you love, you will always remember the day that that happens. You'll always remember how you feel, where you were, like everything about it. And unfortunately, Commissioner Wong has inserted herself into this day of mine, and that I'll never be able to get that back. And if, again, there are many examples that I could give you about how hostile this work environment is, but I'm going to leave you with that one. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kennedy. Next on the list is
I'd be
Commissioner
happy to send
Wong.
it to you.
Okay. All right, that was a lot. Commissioner Kennedy, I have to say, I had no idea what you were doing that day. I was acting as the rules chair after Mr. Goodrick told me that you were in violation of the single rule that we have in our bylaws that qualifies for removal for the mayor. So I apologize if I interrupted a day that I had no knowledge of. I want to know, I'm sorry, the Ohio Ethics Commission deals with conflicts of interest. What I was tweeting on Twitter was that you had a business relationship with Joyce Pan Huan because you were making an app that was soliciting money. And please don't interrupt me. I'm not lying. I'm not, please, I'm being interrupted. As according to the Rules Committee, actually what happened when I was the Rules Committee, when Jason asked me to reopen the rules, I wanted the entire committee to go through every single video and be fair and know every single violation so we can talk to the commissioners. They didn't want to do that. That's what happened. Now, Mr. Van Leer is the head of the Rules Committee, and he has not rescheduled a meeting that was canceled. With regards to Mr. Goodrick, I can only imagine the incident that he means is when we were disagreeing about what to do about Mr. Tolbert's case. And, oh, no, sorry. It was because he wouldn't schedule a meeting for our lawyer. And ever since then, I want to say that we were at NACOL, where Mr. Goodrick made sexually inappropriate comments to me. He has retaliated against me. I have held on to this information because I did not want it to destroy the commission, but now HR from the city is asking for this information, so I'm forced to provide it. I do want to mention that this motion was received by me within 1 hour of this meeting. I asked for it last week, was not given the motion. It still has none of the details, even less details than the first time that this thing was introduced, and my life has been dragged through the mud for 2 months. And I asked it, and I want to know who is on the committee to discipline me. That committee again, if I may ask.
You have 45 seconds.
Well, who is on? Is Ms. Medina on it?
You have 45
yes. Seconds. No. Okay. So and. Of all the allegations, I still don't have specific allegations, so I don't believe I have to answer them. And really to compare me to Ms. Alana Garrett-Ferguson's behavior, respectfully, Ms. Garrett-Ferguson is not the same. Even in the last meeting, just for policy after the meeting, I was cursed at by Ms. Garrett-Ferguson twice, and Mr. Van Leer. And Mr. John Adams, according to the testimony of a community member, lied about the fact that Jason was writing all my motions. So what is actually happening here is retaliation. It is a hostile work environment. I completely agree with you. But the conflict is some of us do not want to fulfill the charter. Some of us do not want to hear cases from the community. And please,
Thank you very much, Commissioner Wong. That has been
Commissioner
your time.
Zayed.
That has been your time,
Commissioner
Commissioner
Zayed.
Wong.
I was
Please,
interrupted.
You are out of order. Your time is up.
And
is there anyone else that would like to Alana Garrett Ferguson?
Thank you. And I ask for some grace with the time because I do speak slowly at times. My name has came up a lot tonight based on previous actions that I have. I have not spoken publicly about the June 14th incident because I do hold myself accountable and to a higher standard. I also want to make sure that we also understand that the way in which this charter was written, that we are the Community Police Commission. That means we are a part of the community. When you ask for people from the community to be a part of something, then you get people from the community. There is a list of criteria of what it means and what it takes to be on this commission. A lot of us have lived and have dealt with many different traumatic incidents, things that might be known publicly, some that might not be known publicly. And so there may be times in which there are community members who do not agree with statements that are made by commissioners. There are times that there might seem like it is something more hostile than what it is. There also has to be understanding that there are many of us who have a background in dealing with some of these other organizations. So, and to be quite frank and to be very transparent, I was a political consultant for Citizens for a Safer Cleveland. I have done numerous years of business with Black Lives Matter Cleveland, and in 2012, I actually was on the work group for youth and policing. I stand on who I am. I stand on my principles. And if someone doesn't like what I said, I understand that. And if I feel threatened at any time, because I have had certain traumas, then I'm going to act in that way. And I have learned from that, and I've seeked out counsel, because I do hold myself accountable. But I need us to make sure that we know what we ask for when we say we want people from the community. When we look at the criteria of what it took and what had to be in some of our backgrounds, understand that people are triggered. We're still human beings. And if a person feels that their safety has been put under and they maybe have reacted in a way, have some grace and ask them, why did they react in that way? Furthermore, after that, me, myself, I have been subject to false claims from many different people, from many different organizations, some of whom I have found out who
Thank you
actually
very
made
much,
them.
Commissioner
And I ask
Garrett
for some
Ferguson.
grace.
I appreciate
for some grace.
your comment, and I ask that you stop speaking at the moment because you have spoken your time. Thank you very much. Yeah, Co-Chair Adams.
All right, so to the commissioners, to the public, my stance on removing commissioners off of this committee has always been, I thought that everyone deserved to do at least their first 2 years. I think that things have changed so drastically just these past couple of weeks. Sharina and I, as new co-chairs, cannot do our job because there's constant harassment. I had to block this commissioner. I asked her to stop texting my personal phone. She refuses. I told her, this is now bordering harassment. I need you to stop texting me. She refuses. As a co-chair of this commission, I should not have to block commissioners. I should be able to communicate with everyone. She sent me a message at work. I told her I was organizing a really big, important ceremony for my school. She proceeds to keep texting me. I made a comment to her that she was not my master. She told me that I wouldn't need a master if I could just do my job right. that she wouldn't have to be my master. Terry, it's in text messages. Stop telling these lies.
Out of a
Commissioner
racial
Wong, you are
context.
out of
So
order.
what I'm
The
saying
co-chair is
is-
speaking.
Recently, just Friday, I was out of town to celebrate the retirement of my dissertation advisor. So I went up to New Jersey. I wake up Friday morning. Now remember, she's still blocked. I wake up on Friday morning. I see messages in a text thread with commissioners, and then I can't see what's going on, so I have to unblock Commissioner Wong, and then 40, 50 messages popped up. There were 85 messages total. A clear violation of the Sunshine Laws. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Listen, you were trying to do commission business. Please don't interrupt me. Do not interrupt me.
Point of order.
You were
I wanna
trying to
speak after.
conduct commission business over a text
making
thread because
accusations
you had a
against
Spoke
meeting.
Commissioner Wong.
You cannot
already
keep
make accusations against me.
interrupting people. I understand. The point that I'm trying to make is that this whole notion that this is like arbitrary or this is being done without any thought put into it is not what's happening.
Let's
We
call for the
cannot
vote.
conduct
Call
our
for the
business,
vote.
and we are trying to get our business done, and this is the impediment to our business getting done.
Okay, so with that being said, I think we should call for the vote.
Let's call for the vote. You're not on the commission. Stop it.
John is, okay. All right, so we're going to call for the vote. Commissioner Adams?
Aye.
Commissioner Benito?
Aye.
Commissioner Chura?
Nay.
Commissioner Early?
Abstain.
Commissioner Garrett Ferguson?
Abstain.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Aye.
Commissioner Ridgway?
Nay.
Commissioner Rodriguez?
I'm going to abstain.
Commissioner Wong?
Nay.
And I, Commissioner Zayed, vote yes. So this motion passes? Oh, it doesn't? How?
Because
Oh, it
of the
needs seven. Okay.
abstentions.
Okay, sorry. So it failed, so it was 4 yes, 3 no, and 3 abstentions. Oh, so okay, so that means that's what I thought, okay. Okay, so the motion passes 4-3. Okay, so we are going to move forward with our co-chair report.
Oh my God.
I don't have it, you got the minutes.
I'll move
But I
this.
do want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
I did, so John, Co-Chair Adams is going to give the co-chair report, but I did want to say one thing. I want to give a shout out to Chief Todd, Police Chief Todd. Since she has assumed her position recently, I've been really impressed and relieved by her proactive approach to build a relationship with the CPC and also to produce effective communication between the CPC and CPD. She has done an ideal job of keeping the lines of communication open and ensuring transparency. I'm optimistic about the future of our relationship due to her actions and level of effective communication, and hope that it persists. And I really think that we can accomplish a lot if this continues. So thank you, Chief Todd.
Thank you, Commissioner Zayed. I want to echo that. We had a meeting with the chief. She actually requested a meeting with the co-chairs and Edie Goodrick, and we were with the chief and the commanders, and we sort of sat down and talked about sort of how we, she basically sat down and said, this is like a reset button. She said, this is like us starting fresh. We're going to start over. We're going to build better relationships. She is also setting up an additional meeting, I think, in the next couple of weeks so that we can sort of, we are having some issues with the records request. So I know that the city's out of compliance with our records request, and so one of the things that's being suggested is that we will meet with the chief in a couple of weeks, and they will actually pull out a sample case file for us. And so we'll get to look at an entire case file, and then we can look at the case file and figure out, you know, what parts of the file that we absolutely need. Maybe there's some part of the files that we don't need. So that will be happening soon as well. And I also just wanted to say, to echo off of Commissioner Zayed, Co-Chair Zayed, is that when this incident happened on 105th and Garfield, she was proactive. She contacted us. She let us know that the investigation was with the county. She also agreed to sort of like keep us abreast of what was going on. And so before that body cam was actually released, she actually contacted the CPC and let us know what was going on. So I think there's good relationships happening with with this new police chief. Also, right now, in terms of where we are with the DOJ and our records request, we are still, like I said, trying to figure out how to get the records. I know that there was an agreement yesterday that we will get these kind of investigative summaries. So it was expressed to the CDP that we know that they may have to give us a lot of records and it may be time consuming for them, but we still need those records. We still are going to need all of those records to do our Brady Giglio work, to create the public database. So we're at a point where we're trying to figure out what we can get from them now and then what keeps coming in rolling, but it has been expressed to them that we still need all of these records. The two things I want to mention is that we are close to scheduling a executive committee meeting with all of the chairs and the co-chairs for the commissions to kind of keep us on the same page, and that we also want to remind the public that we are open for office hours from 4:30 to 5:30 every Monday in the CPC office.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda, Executive Director Jason Goodrick is going to give us his interim Executive Director report.
All right, good evening. Thanks to all the new faces that are in the audience this evening. It's refreshing to see so many seats filled. It's been a while. Yeah, you too. So I want two things. First to the co-chairs. We do have to be out of here. We have to close at 8:30. Whenever we're in a rec center, we are under by permit. So we're not in our house this evening, so we cannot go past 8:30. So I hope we get through as much as we can, and I will keep this brief. I am going to stay without going into much detail. Thank you to the commissioners who have supported their staff. I think it's great. It's been a hard year for the staff too, not just for the commission. And for those of you who have taken the time to appreciate the work of the people who lift you up every day, it is very appreciated. That being said, budgeting has passed council. Our full budget will be released by Office of Budget Management at the city very shortly, which means that we can spend, we have until April. You typically get 25% of your budget to utilize until council approves. Council, once again, this year has put us at the minimum. I'm sure you're all aware. So our request for additional funding to support the community grants program, we did not receive an official communication from them, but I think it was clear from that meeting that was not moving forward and it was not discussed in budget reconciliation. So as far as I'm aware, the budget has been passed, and we are, once again, the 115.5 appropriates a floor for us, and we are, for the last 2 years, it has been clear that the floor is where we are going to be for a minute. So, but it's more than enough money to get through our framework that we have and all of the plans that committees have brought forth so far. And we do have a little left over from the previous year for important projects like our community survey. So that is the budget report. Records requests, there are 6 outstanding requests with the city. Most of those have to do with disciplinary records, so it seems that records flow whenever it is not related to police officer discipline. When it is a case related to police officer discipline, there seems to be a pattern of resisting letting those records go forward in detail. I will say that the DOJ and the monitoring team have been working really hard, setting up meetings once a week, and their stance has been give the CPC the records. So we've been through this before. Mr. Jackson is here in the audience. When he was a co-chair, he was front and center for the 2-year battle it took us to get public records before, which are public records. And we don't have to go through public records. I think there's a lot of confusion when that term is thrown around. We don't make public records requests, we make commission requests. And that is a completely different thing, right? And it has a completely different weight. And I want to assure you that this commission and these co-chairs have been doing everything in their power to move those records forward. So I think as you can see, there's some interpersonal tension here, and a lot of times that causes misinformation to be put out to the public, but it's just not true that we're not fighting to get those records and move cases forward, because we absolutely 100% are doing all we can, and these two co-chairs are 100% committed to fully realizing the power of this commission under 115.5. So the records will come, and once they break through, we'll be moving forward as quickly as possible on everything before us that those records were required to do the business correctly. And I think, Ms. Bickerstaff, you have said it time and again, training is important and doing it right is important. And it's been my counsel to this commission, and it's on record, that we need everything we should have to do it right? Because these cases are going to be significant, they are going to be precedents, and we don't want to lose a court case because one little thing wasn't looked at or one thing was incorrect. So this is a body like a court, and they need to see everything available before them to make a firm decision. And we are willing to receive those records through other avenues, so thank you for the offers to do that. And so, let's talk. To those of you who have complaints pending, we can certainly do that. Receive anything that you feel would help your case move forward. We can add that to the file. So absolutely 100% another way to solve it, records. We have one vacancy in the office. And we always combine a team of staff to interview and select one commissioner, so that there is some joint agreement and so that there is oversight into the staff on who we're selecting for these positions. That is for the senior communications person that manages our web and our press releases and written communications. We went through a round of interviews, and we looked at a couple of candidates, and this group jointly agreed to repost that job and re-promote it to see what else might be out there. So that decision was just made today, so that job will be reposted for at least 30 days, so that we can make sure that we have a person that we believe is the right fit, that can work in this environment that, as you can see, can be tense at times, and is able to deliver on that skill set. So that was the determination of that commission, of that selection committee. Thank you for your time, and good evening, everybody.
Thank you very much. So now we're on to our committee status reports.
Madam Co-Chair, I had requested to ask the Executive Director a question.
Oh, sure.
I'm going to do this all in one swoop because I know I only have 3 minutes and we're pressed for time. I want you to update us in terms of two things. One is for community knowledge. Can you talk to us about our subpoena power? We continue to have a run-in with the administration where decisions are made on the commission side and the mayor chooses to override those decisions. So can you talk about subpoena power for records request? And then I think that, and this is on camera and on the record, we have not seen the mayor yet before this commission. And for him to pick and choose to just meet with the co-chairs, which is fine, I trust y'all, but I think that the entire commission deserves to hear from the mayor on why we're making decisions that we're making. And so do we have the power to subpoena the mayor to show up? Lastly, before you comment, because I just want to get this out the way, staff salaries, when we talk about the pay averages between male employees in the office and female employees in the office, is unacceptable. I am tired of us as a commission talking about it and not doing anything about it. So I'm asking for you to give a report on that. And then in my conclusion, I'm asking the co-chairs respectfully to step up and do something when it comes to the finance department, human resource department, and the mayor at City Hall when it comes to our salaries for our female employees who are tremendously underpaid.
So we'll start with the subpoena question. The subpoena, the short answer to subpoena is you have full subpoena power. The part that is missing from the subpoena power is a consequence. So 115.5 says that City Council will set what the penalty is for not being in compliance with the CPC subpoena. To my knowledge, City Council has not done that. So right now, any subpoena that we send out technically doesn't have a remedy if it's not followed, right? But you do have full subpoena power. So my advice would be to work with council president and other council people to say you would like to begin your subpoena power, but we are missing that piece, and we need to have that addressed by council. If the CPC were to use their subpoena power and someone did not comply with the subpoena, what would the remedy be due to the commission or the penalty under the law for not complying with a commission subpoena? So if you tried it right now, that question could be forced on council because it's unresolved. Right now I would say that you have a semi-toothless subpoena power. That's just my 2 cents. I'm not an attorney, so you're welcome to get Martin to. We can also ask the question of Martin, what his opinion is, and we'll put that on that task. And yes, that includes people, and there's no exception under the law for what people. So technically, you can subpoena the President of the United States. I don't know if he would show, but you could under 115.5.
To the chair, to the commissioners through the chair, I also wanted to Commissioner Early that we tentatively have a meeting scheduled with the mayor on April 9th. So if there are things like of that nature that you feel like you would like to have addressed, I think that what our plans are as co-chairs is to send out some correspondence to the full commission to sort of request what are items that the commissioners would like to have addressed in that meeting. So I think maybe that's something we can do.
To the co-chair, I support that, but I also want to state that then the mayor is never on public record having a conversation with the commission and being held accountable to what he is saying in those meetings. He should meet with all of us.
I have a question.
And again, the co-chairs have the right to meet. I'm just saying, for public record of the mayor's comments on the commission and policies that he has not abided by need to be on record.
We hear you, Commissioner.
Co-chair, I have something to add, please.
Commissioner Wong, you have not been acknowledged. You have not been acknowledged.
Can I add something about the subpoena, please?
One moment, please.
Finishing your second question, Commissioner, in April of last year, when I was officially sworn in with Executive Director Powers, I did two things. I asked for an equity adjustment through a job title change for one of the female staff in our office who had almost a near exact job description of another male in our office who was making far more money. It wasn't through our doing. That was part of the legacy inheritance of the past administration. Had no control over setting those salaries originally, but now that I had power to do so, I attempted to correct it. It was denied, and there's a lot of rumors of why it was denied, but when we asked for definitive proof to back up what was stated for the denial, it was never provided to this commission. It's that simple. So they cited rules, they cited all kinds of reasons why they couldn't make that equity adjustment or change the job description. And when I asked for follow-up questions, those questions were never answered formally for one who made the decision, because technically council approved that salary funding when we went that year to be on a scale, and under 115.5 the executive director has the financial authority to release that money unless it's unlawful or unreasonable, neither of which these were in my opinion. So that was denied by city officials. I stand by that. It's in memos, it's well documented, it's been shared with commissioners. The second thing that I did was it's common when there's vacancies to fill with interim, as you know, because I've been interim in this for a long time, and backfill positions. So recognizing the importance of having an assistant director, I wrote a memo to have Shalana Williams interimly fill and be promoted to Assistant Director of the CPC. And what I asked for salary-wise is what was budgeted, which was exactly the same amount of money that I was making as that equivalent position. So it would be the equivalency of an administrative manager. Again, it was denied, and the same reasons were given, that there's rules, that they were in violation of rules, that request was unreasonable, et cetera, et cetera. No official answer was given. And I pursued it through 2 HR directors because we had a change in leadership at HR. And I even had a meeting with Mr. Matt Cole. He said he would get back to me. There's an email trail that shows that initially he was supportive. I even had the staff at some point come to me and say they were willing to negotiate, right? If we can't get that full amount, a counteroffer would be entertained by either one. And no attempt by the city to ever go there was ever made, even through all my attempts. So it's on the record. Those things did occur. And so that's where it is.
I have a question.
Commissioner Wong.
I just want to note that a subpoena, sounds like a very sexy thing that we can do. However, this is incumbent, if you can correct me, Mr. Goodrick, on the actions of council. We have another method with which to enact our authority that barely we have done today for anything related to police accountability, I guess to my accountability maybe, and that is to make majority motions, make decisions, and enforce them. And if it comes to a point that it is not, you can't hold somebody responsible if you don't make a decision. And we're not making decisions via email, we have to make decisions via motion. And to go around, I've noticed, unfortunately, Mr. Goodrick, you have a tendency to take us down the longest path possible with the records, waiting for Judge Oliver, rather than enacting our authority. And it's a little confusing to me because why are we not willing to just simply vote on things according to our charter authority, and then we exercise our charter authority? There might be some ambiguity. I realize that, there have been challenges to the interpretation of the charter, but all you have to do is we can interpret it, and we can say, this is what we feel. It brings us to a confrontation potentially with the city, but then we deal with it. There's absolutely no forward momentum because we're not willing to actually exercise our authority, especially with police discipline. No small irony, today, 4 times, Mr. Tolbert's motion is not coming up yet again. I'm sure Mr. Tolbert is thrilled that I'm being held accountable rather than Lance Henderson. I'm sure the community is thrilled.
With all due respect, Commissioner Wong, we do not need a motion to enact our authority. Once we get the request from the complainant, we act, we go into action. We don't need a motion. There were other motions where we requested records and we still don't have the records. Hence why we are currently working with the parties of the consent decree to come up with a more effective and efficient process for records for claims. We are currently in the process of doing that.
We've never had a motion for records using the charter. We've never done that.
You are out of order.
Never done that.
Spoken. You have spoken,
You're portraying misinformation
Commissioner
onto
Wong,
the record.
you have spoken.
But
You're out
please
of
stop
order.
lying about things that you do not understand.
You cannot speak. Why don't I understand them, Commissioner Wong? Why, another attack. Stop attacking people. Commissioner Wong, you are out of order. Stop talking.
It is not an attack to say that you are providing inaccurate information. We have never done a majority motion for records.
You are out
that
of
is
order.
a
We need to
factual
civilize
inaccuracy.
this meeting. We need to civilize this meeting.
What I want to say to the commissioners through the chair, this is misinformation, everybody. The reason why, where we are right now, if anybody knows the challenges of getting records, it should be Commissioner Wong. She made the first request for records that we do not have. We are at the point right now, literally we just had a meeting about this like yesterday. We are at the point where we're figuring out how to get the records. We've requested a lot of records. Please do not interrupt me because I'm trying to give you the accurate information. We literally have had a conversation. We have requested thousands and thousands of pages of records. We're not talking about some little file. So where we are right now with the records, we're trying to figure out what exactly do we need, what exactly can we get from the police department right now, and what the plan is to get the rest of the records, and on what type of time frame would that happen. The police have to go through each of these records, and they have to redact these records. There's no redaction machine. There's a person or persons that have to redact records. So that's where we are. That is the truth about where we are with these records. This started with the co-chairs from last year. We have been like, to act as if we can just say, give us the records. The charter says give us the records. They're resisting us. Commissioner Wong knows this. So it's not as simple as us just imposing our will and the authority that we have in the charter. We are working with the Department of Justice and the monitoring team precisely for what she's saying. Because we don't have our records, and we should have our records, but as co-chairs, and the previous co-chairs can also attest to this, we have to figure out how to do this. And so all of this stuff that's being said is not fully accurate to the public, and I want to correct that.
Jason.
Go ahead.
I just want to say I've given the report. Look, there's very important. Look, people want to see us do our job. These police policies should be people have worked really hard on these police policies. And policy committee, one of these, the gunshot detection system, has been to this committee twice. It's been months debated. I think we're doing a disservice. So I ask to be excused so that you can move on with your business. And thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on.
I had a question.
Is it related to the? We really need to move on for these reports.
It was about the salary bands, but it's fine. I'll just figure out another way to get the answers out there.
Okay, yeah, maybe send an email after. Okay, thank you. So we're going to move forward with the committee status reports. Commissioner Wong with the accountability.
Okay, I'm just going to try to briefly go through this. There was a motion that we needed to make, but we can make it next time if we had to. We are moving forward on our work groups. Ryan, if you can give us an update as to when those questions can be sent to an attorney. We don't have an attorney on either one of those for the second work group. Brady Giglio is moving forward with the records that we have, and we hope to establish the rubric within the month and give what we have. But as was stated, we are missing records. However, I do want to say for the record, I did make a lot of the records requests, so I know it very well. And the first records request was for OPS files, and I particularly understood, and records requests should be made specifically and strategically with full knowledge that the city may resist. I made it specifically without the body cam information in order to accelerate the information that we had. So I see no reason from that perspective that these OPS records are not given to us at this point. I do not agree with John Adams' statement. Dr. Adams' statement respectfully that there are thousands and thousands of pages. How is one to know when, and what does thousands and thousands of pages mean when most of these records are digital? I don't even know how to calculate volume in digital form except through gigabytes and megabytes and things like that. So I think that, and it's interesting to me that Dr. Adams is making the same statements that the city made to the judge to argue for further delay in the records, and you can ask for the transcript at the consent decree conference to confirm what I have said. So we did see one case through Ms. Dorinza Johnson. I was a little surprised to arrive at that meeting and see that Mr. Goodrick had invited her to the meeting. So I think we still need to work out the process for these hearings. And there is a draft evidentiary hearing process. Unfortunately, Mr. Goodrick has accelerated that through the Rules Committee rather than through the Accountability Committee. I saw it yesterday, and there are vast problems with it. It's, in my opinion, perversions of the charter and also misunderstandings of the discipline system. So I'm going to ask that we look at it through accountability, especially with Mr. Churro, who understands the system very well. I don't know if I need to make a motion for that, but to accelerate a hearing process that is so important to the community and not get the only person that even understands directly from life experience eyes on it is not really proper. So I guess I can make a motion that the recommendation of the committee was that after hearing Ms. Johnson's perspective, that we did not think that this was, and I can type up a report, this was a case that the committee should see. We did feel that she may have another potential claim, and we've encouraged her to go to OPS. Mr. Goodrick, you had stated to me on record that you would be following up with her the next day, but my understanding is that Marcus has not received anything from you. Can you please give us an update, since it's been a few weeks, as to what the progress of Ms. Johnson's additional appeal to OPS would be?
As has been mentioned many times, your understanding and your statement of facts is 100% incorrect. And I will stand on the record to say, with Commissioner Adams and other commissioners, that the way you approach things by misstating it is 100%
What am I misstating?
You mentioned my name about 15 times
What
this
am I
evening.
misstating? Okay,
so I
then
will say
I'm
this.
just asking you a question
when you
because-
when you mention my name, I suggest at this point that only facts come after it, because I'm putting you on notice. You have defamed
Fine.
me at
That
public
is
meeting
fine.
time and
I'm
again.
telling the truth.
And this is a public announcement to
Thank
the public
you.
can see me that defamation is real, and I am not the only victim of it from you on this commission. So I will say this.
Okay.
So I will say this. No, you asked me a question. Now I'm going to answer the question.
Please
okay?
answer the question about Ms. Dorinda
is
Johnson's
that is
appeal.
incorrect. Just because I didn't CC you, because I get hostile emails back every time you're included in anything I do.
Well, shouldn't the
that
chair of
stop,
accountability?
Stop. So you were
Excuse
not
me?
CC'd, but the co-chairs were. In a communication asking for the status of that case, I also contacted Ms. Johnson immediately the next day, and we had a phone
No, we're not, I'm not
conversation.
talking, you're
So-
misunderstanding my question.
Your
My
question was, is did we
no,
follow up?
you're
Yes.
misunderstanding, let me finish and correct the question. The question is that when we saw Ms. Dorinda Johnson's case, she mentioned a third incident that she would like to report to OPS. I'm merely asking you, did you follow up with her as you
Yes.
agreed to me? Because Mr. Perez has
Yes.
did not, why did you not CC me on the email to make sure that she
I
was
already
properly?
explained it, because every email that you're CC'd
So
on
the
comes
chair of
back with
accountability
false
is not going
accusations
to
and
get CC'd on the
defamation.
email for accountability issues. So could you forward me the email then? So, because I want to make sure that this.
So to
we have
the commissioner, I think that this is no longer productive. And I think that we're going to have a special meeting probably. But there are some GPOs for the police that we need to pass. We only have, we have like 7.5 minutes, but we can get something done, because we do need to get some of these GPOs passed for the police. So I'm gonna hand this over to Commissioner Benito.
So we're going to skip budgeting grants. So, because we did not make a motion to skip budgeting grants. So it is, if we're going to
And I didn't make my motion for Ms. Johnson either.
I would like for us to make, it's okay, but I would like for us to at least make a motion to skip budgeting grants, because I've had several questions in regards to several motions put forth, and I've been shut down by the co-chairs every single time tonight. So I'm asking, if we're going to skip budget and grants, especially when we have a lot of mischaracterizations being made about salaries and everything else, that a motion be formally put forward and we not skip over it. Because I think the community is caring about where their money is going and their taxpayer dollars.
Oversight. So we were not planning on skipping the budget and grants. It was just
Co-chair.
an oversight on
Co-chair.
the agenda.
Co-Chair Adams, I was making a motion for Ms. Dorinda Johnson. Are we skipping over that too? That was the accountability report. We have to make a motion that the commission accepts our recommendation not to pursue Ms. Dorinda Johnson's case to full evidentiary hearing. That is the recommendation of the committee. If I can have a second,
Is
so we
there
can
a
at least get
second?
something done.
Is there a second?
Mr. Chair. We're not gonna close
I'll
out this
second.
case. Thank you.
Second.
Okay, is there any debate or comment? Okay. so
I'm
we're
happy
gonna-
to send out a report about it, but
Okay, we're going to call the vote.
So just for clarity, the motion that is on the floor, we had the case with Ms. Johnson. It came to the Accountability Committee. The Accountability Committee decided that they would not move forward on the case, and so that's the motion that is with the full commission right now.
Right, and I think there's no debate, so we can just move forward with the, okay. Okay. Commissioner Adams?
Aye.
Commissioner Benito?
Aye.
Commissioner Chura?
Aye.
Commissioner Early? Commissioner Garrett Ferguson?
Aye.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Aye.
Commissioner Ridgway?
Aye.
Commissioner Rodriguez?
I'm going to abstain.
Commissioner Wong?
Aye.
And I, Commissioner Zayed, yes.
Yes. This will be very quick. We did receive information from members at the last budget and grants council that dealt with some of the stuff around the salary, so I would encourage people to go back and watch that. Also, for the Budget and Grants Committee, we are looking at, and people can email us to tell us how they feel. When it comes to the grants this year, there's a proposal to allow one entity to take the money and manage the grant for us as through a contract, and we put out an RFQ, and we select the organization that has the best reputation and has the best plan on how they're going to administer those grants to the community, and we will pay them a reasonable fee. Hopefully that they will have a low bid. It may or may not be a nonprofit. We do not know. We're going to come up with it, but that is a proposal. So if anyone has thoughts about that, because we do know that right now I think we're still trying to manage 24 grants, and we know that the community wants us to do a lot of our policing work and our policy work and hearings, and so to lessen the load around budgeting grants, this is something that has been proposed, and if anyone has thoughts around it, please email us.
Thank you. We're going to move on to the Policy Committee. And Commissioner Benito is going to give that report.
Thank you. I'm going to go straight to the GPOs that we're hoping to get approved tonight. We are short on time. I want to apologize that commissioners did not receive these GPOs until this afternoon. I know that the co-chairs and our executive director are addressing this to make sure that doesn't happen again. I'm going to change the order, and I'm going to ask that we look at the officer lunch breaks GPO first, because the CDP moved to 12-hour shifts, and right now the GPO does not give them the amount of time that is legally required for them on a 12-hour shift. So we need to make sure that the only change that is really being made to this GPO as it already exists is that it says each officer shall be entitled to one 60-minute break for lunch during each 12-hour shift. So I am hoping to entertain a motion. Can I make a motion? Okay. I would like to move to approve GPO 1.02.22, officer lunch breaks.
Second the motion.
Okay, is there any discussion? All right, we're going to move forward with the vote. Commissioner Adams?
Aye.
Commissioner Benito?
Aye.
Commissioner Chura?
Aye.
Commissioner Early?
Aye.
Commissioner Garrett Ferguson?
Aye.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Aye.
Commissioner Ridgway?
Aye.
Commissioner Rodriguez?
Aye.
Commissioner Wong?
Aye.
And I, Commissioner Zayed, vote yes. So that passed. With 10, that's okay, with 10 votes. We only have about 3 minutes left, so I think at this time we will.
Could we do one more?
Do you think we could do one more, guys?
At least the gunshot.
All right, let's try it.
Okay.
I would not go that one.
Benito, if we can put the gunshot one.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
that's
no,
what
I think
report.
I think just because there might be some issues with people just getting these today, that we should just adjourn the meeting, and we'll have a special meeting to pass the rest of these. Okay.
Okay.
What do you think, Malachi? What do you think we should do? Should we adjourn the meeting?
Do we have to do a motion, or can we just adjourn? Okay, so we're going to adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for coming out. We're going to schedule a special meeting for the rest of the motions for the policy. We'll get it done, Commander Carney? Yeah. We'll get it done, Commander Carney.